What's up, guys? Alpine Gremlin again here with some more World of Tanks. Now, this is partially an update video on what's been going on, why there hasn't been a lot of stuff on the channel recently, and then just kind of a general gameplay commentary, just to show, just to show something for after a couple weeks. So first off, the reason why I haven't been putting up videos is because I haven't been playing WoT. Reason being is my internet is absolutely terrible at the moment. I've been getting very consistent ping spikes, and for a while before the technicians even came down, it would even cut it in and out. So it literally made playing any online games impossible. Now that particular problem has been fixed, but there's still a lot of ping issues, and I can't really play a game like World of Tanks effectively because things happen so fast. If I get a ping spike in the middle of a tough engagement, then there's no telling how badly I'll lose it because everything happens so quickly. I have been playing some online games. I've been putting a lot of time into World of Warships recently, actually. Because the action is a lot slower paced in that game, and so having bad ping isn't as bad because the ship responds slowly anyway. And so if I'm moving my ship and I'm in the middle of a maneuver, it doesn't really matter if I get these ping spikes every now and then, because the ship's still gonna take a while to do that anyway. A game like WoT, though, something like that, I really can't put time into it right now with my internet this way. But I am hoping to get it fixed as soon as possible and start playing again. And then as terms of World of Warships, I mean, if you guys want to see any of that, let me know in the comments. But for now, let's focus on this game. Now, for those of you that have been with the channel for a while, might recognize this name here, EvoShandor. He did actually... Funny enough, I put up a video commenting on one of his Comet games that he had on the very same map, just from the other side. And this time he's driving a vehicle that I've actually been very interested in. I haven't personally watched a whole lot of gameplay of this vehicle, the Grille 15, the new replacement for the old Waffenträger Alpha E100 that used to be in this spot. This is the N tier tank destroyer, and I prefer this vehicle in the game to the Waffle. Now, it's very interesting. It's got a huge 150mm gun that is incredibly accurate. It aims very quickly, reloads pretty fast, but the Grille 15 is very easy to hit because it's so tall, and it's also very, very lightly armored. However, it is very fast. Now, this is a vehicle that I have, and for this coming up right here, this is a vehicle that I actually am kind of afraid of. Not as much as the Waffle, because it can't clip you out in a matter of seconds, but just because it hits so hard, it aims so fast. The gun handling is really good on this tank, especially, and that'll be apparent in this replay. But it's a tank that I really am wary of, especially in a medium tank, because it is not a TD that you can get away with normal medium tank antics like quickly poking over a ridge to get a snapshot, because this thing will pull off a snapshot. Now you can see Evo has gotten himself up on this berm here, and you can see off to a great start. He's going to put a shot right through that building, and there goes 3/4 of that T-49's health. Gone. One shot. Nice 762 damage roll. So we're off to a good start. Now, Evo does have 6th Sense on this. I've already looked through the replay. And so that's why he hasn't actually been spotted yet. You haven't seen the thing go off. Now, I'm not sure what the exact number on this tank's camo rating is, but he does have a lot of concealment between him and the majority of the targets that he's shooting at. So that is some good spotting mechanics going on. Now, that CDC poked up on the ridge but backed up just before Evo was able to put a good shot into him. And now the 30B comes up, and he just detracts the 30B. Pulled back just in time, just as Evo was taking the shot. Now you can see notice how he kind of instinctively backed off the ridge there, even though he wasn't lit. That's a very good skill to practice, a good thing to get into habit. Now you can see he just got hit, and now this is the thing about a glass cannon like this that hits so hard. You are a priority target if you do end up getting spotted. And you can see that TVP wasted no time emptying a good portion of his magazine into Evo, and that's going to be important later on. And so Evo instinctively backs down off the hill to mitigate the damage. You can see another guy just took a shot at him. Everybody wants the Grille 15 dead. So you could see, especially in a tank like this, or in a Leopard 1, or in any other kind of tank that doesn't have a lot of armor, it's good to get in the habit of just instinctively kind of backing down if you're in an elevated position like that and exposed in the event you do get spotted. Even if you don't get spotted, it's nice to be in that habit just so that you can be prepared for when you do actually get detected by enemy players. So right now the situation on both flanks is kind of stagnant, but they do have both of their tier 10 mediums, the TVP and the 30B, over here in the south. Now the only tier 10s here on this flank are Evo and the T-57 Heavy. But you could see Evo is starting to move in advance, and this is definitely a tank that I can see where this is an important skill to be able to use. Now, the Grille's got great speed, and like I said, you know, this is not a tank that you want to be the last one alive on a flank on. You know, it's not a tank that you want to be the focus of any kind of attention. So Evo is going to where he's going to have more consistent support. Because if he had stayed in that back position, if he had gotten lit, the enemy team would have completely just railed him behind the enemies, behind his team. Now he just put a good solid hit into that Type 4 Heavy. He's now one shot for Evo. But you could see now the situation in the south is a little bit more dire. They have both T-32s just joined the fight. Their T-54s, they're all, like I said, their tier 10 mediums are there, and these tier 8s are not going to last long. You can see the T-57 Heavy is already trying to get away, but he's not going to be able to. So now Evo does the right thing here. He and this is something important when you're in a situation like this where one flank is looking bad. If you're in a situation where one flank is going to fall, you need to push the weaker enemy force. Because if you don't, you risk getting completely surrounded. If these guys don't clean up this town ASAP, these guys here are going to mop up everything here and are going to come around, and these guys are going to be completely surrounded in the town. So Evo is going to have to put down the sniper role for the time being. He's going to have to get into that town and push the tempo. Because clearly his team doesn't seem as willing to do that. So Evo is going to come in. His first target is that T-110E5, very, very strong tier 10 heavy tank. The E5, I believe, just took a shot. He gets spotted, but he probably has just shit himself at the sight of a Grille 15 100 meters away from him. Evo smashes him for 837, a nice high roll for that 150. The T-110E5 is now not looking too healthy anymore. And now here, Evo comes out, pokes out. He thinks about taking a shot at the lower front plate, but opts for the much more reliable shot and goes for the side of the turret. Very good decision making, and allowed his team to quickly mop up the E5. Now that the town is secure, it's time to start focusing on these guys on this 9-0 line. The south is a very important flank on this map, especially if you have a lot of mediums, which the enemy tank does. In fact, they have an overwhelming majority of the medium tanks still alive. So it's now time to cover the base. See, the M103 on Evo's team has just sent him a platoon invite, which, you know, couldn't hurt to get some, solid communication teamwork going on. And Evo just executes that CDC as he makes a beeline for the cover of the railroad over there. He does not get away. Now, this here, and, you know, I hope you don't mind me kind of critiquing some of your decision making here, Evo. But so this is a point where where Evo kind of, you know, I guess wastes time. It doesn't get him killed per se, or, you know, it doesn't take him out of the game. But in a sense of his gun, in a sense of, you know, doing damage to enemy tanks, it does kind of. These are T-32s. Granted, they're only tier 8s, but you guys are well aware of how strong a T-32 is hull down. And those two T-32s have the perfect position from which they can fight. It doesn't matter how big your gun is. That is going to give any tank a run for its money. Now, pay attention to the M103. Now, the M103 in my opinion, is actually making he had the right idea, right? The 703 had the right idea, but the way he went about it was completely wrong. And so, like I said, these T32s here have a very, very strong position, and unfortunately, that M103 has decided to he's making the right idea. He has the right plan, which is to get up under their gun line, get over that ridge, and fight them where they can't use their hull armor. But the way he's going about it, driving across an open field in front of them, that's going to get him killed. And look at that side of the turret taking a heat round with 330 plus millimeters of penetration from a Grille 15's 150 millimeter gun and just shrugging it off. And so, you know, these are really, the Grille 15 is accurate, sure, but Evo's kind of wasting time here, taking speculative shots at, you know, very small and well-armored targets. There's only a small fraction of the turret that he can actually reliably penetrate. And the TVP just took out their M103. So now the scores are even, and it's unfortunate that Evo had queued up an HE round for the T-32's turret, because he would have just shaved off double that HP of that TVP. And so I think, and like I said, you know, part of that was a mistake. You know, he was spending so much time trying to get shots on the T-32s that he didn't have an AP round loaded, and he would have just done massive amounts of damage to that TVP there. But you can see the situation now. We've got a full health T110E5. Now the T110E5 definitely has a stronger position than the M103 opted to go. But like I said, you know, Evo's in a good Overwatch position, but not to shoot hull down T-32s. Now if I was him personally, now this T-32, he rushes the shot, ends up bouncing off the mantlet. Now, if I was in Evo's position with this tank, I probably would have moved along the A line to get side shots into these hull down guys here, and I would have done it probably a little bit ago. I probably would have done it when the M103 went, because this is, you know, Evo's got the biggest gun on his team right now, and he's got the potential to really shut down these tanks pretty effectively. And that E5 was on full health when he you know, threw himself in there, and now he's just completely surrounded. He's got, you know, a little over a fourth of his health left, and he is not going to last much longer either. Now the T-32 is pushing up, and now this is when Evo makes a pretty good decision. Now he takes a shot at this T-32. Well, he had a shot, but he obviously the gun had to aim, and he backed up before he could actually put it to use. And so, you know, he's looking for the shot. He just bounced another heat round off the T-32's turret, and he got spotted there. And the T-32 does not bounce off of him. So that wasn't a particularly good trade. Also, the E5 was just killed, as well as their 1390. It is now just the T-32 and Evo left. So, and remember, they have artillery in play as well. Very fast-firing Batshot, which can absolutely wreck a lightly armored tank like this. Now you'll notice that T-32 has lit the enemy T-32, but he's not actually taking damage, which indicates he's not spotted. He's actually using the concealment to spot these guys. And there's the Bat-Arty. The Bat-Arty has obviously pushed way up here. And here Evo is going to put the good accuracy of this gun to use. Just enough of that tank is pointing out behind the wreck of the enemy medium, and he executes him. Doesn't get lit either, which is very important, because now these guys are not going to see that there is a Grille 15 now headed their way. All they know is that their Arty was just taken out. Now, like I said, this is something I probably would have done a while ago to put extra pressure on the enemy forces here and get good side shots into these T-32s, which are really giving a lot of people on the team trouble. Now you can see before the Sixth Sense even goes off, see how the T-32 reacts like that? Even if you're not working with Sixth Sense, that is a great way to tell if you've been lit. You could see that T-32 instinctively changed what he was doing and and is starting to swivel his gun to engage Evo. So before the Sixth Sense even goes off, because remember there's a delay, he knows he's been lit. Right as he's about to take a shot, on the T-32, he notices, and this is a very good decision on his part, that T-54 Mod 1 on 627 health, he switch targets and takes out the guy he knows he can one-shot. Very good decision, because at this stage of the game, when you are in a close combat situation like this, you know, and where it's, you know, coming down to the wire, you need to get guys out of the fight. Damage is good, but there's still game. But even if you damage that T-32, his gun's still in the game, and he can still retaliate. Now, Evo just snipes the cupola of that T-32, takes off 746 damage. Very nice shot, and the accuracy of this gun is just terrifying. Now, the T-32 on his team is coming over the ridge. Put a shot into him. Evo donks the shot a little bit. I think the heat round might have gone into that little power outlet and didn't actually make it to the T-32. But he's going to make up for it, and he executes the enemy T-32. Now, where is that TVP at? Now, the last time we saw him, he had around 1,200 health. So, if Evo rolls high and the T-32 rolls average, they can theoretically one-shot this guy. But remember that TVP has enough potential in his magazine to kill both of these guys with ease. And you can see right here, he pops up, the T-32 spots him. Now this TVP knows he's in a do-or-die situation. He's fully loaded, and this is where a fully loaded autoloader is very dangerous in the late game. So, you know, Evo is understandably kind of flustered. Now these guys have to combine their fire. If they roll high, they can kill this guy. If they don't, then this guy is probably going to kill them unless he gets really unlucky. But he's doing exactly what he needs to do. He knows he's got the potential to kill them both. He knows he's got to push, otherwise this TVP is going to lose. He comes over the ridge, the T-32 spots him, Evo gets ready, puts a shot right into his side, and disaster, he rolls just low enough. If he had gotten a little bit higher of a roll like he got on that T-110 E5, he probably would have killed this guy. But unfortunately, the TVP survives. Even 2 shots from these guys. Unlucky RNG. The TVP puts 2 into the T-32, and he's going to have no trouble killing Evo. And that was kind of a depressing loss. So guys, let's take a look at the after action report. Alright guys, so here's the after action report. You can see that Evo obviously finished top on his team in terms of damage. He ended up putting out 7,163 damage. Now, with a gun like that, you know, I can see that would stack up quickly, especially if you're firing, you know, like Evo was, just constantly on the trigger. I could see that number coming up pretty darn quick, and definitely was needed for Evo in order to, you know, keep his team in the game. Unfortunately, you know, his team in the South just folded, and you know, there wasn't a whole lot that he could do. He did end up picking up a high caliber for this game, as well as he put down 6 enemy tanks and got 1,000 base experience even on a loss. I mean, that's a solid result. You could see though, he did fire, you know, for all of the shots that he was firing, there were a couple points in this match where he was making some poor ones and not, you know, getting the most I guess efficient use out of his damage potential. He fired 22 shots, 17 of those only hit, and of those only 12 penetrated. And I think that if he had penetrated just a tad bit more of his shots, he probably could have come away with this as a win. Now, I'm not blaming Evo for this loss by any means, and I hope you don't mind me critiquing this particular game, but there were some points where I think that you could have you know, made more effective use of your firepower. I think that, you know, and I understand, you know, it gets kind of intense when you're in a situation like that where the game's close. And I think you definitely had the idea, well, you know, I'm a long-range tank, I have accuracy, I don't have a lot of armor, let me take up a sniping position. But the tanks you were shooting at to hold down T-32s, I think that was kind of just a waste of your time. And like I said, I think if you had put the speed to use and gotten on their flanks, that would have not only that not have would have only split their attention even further, but you would have been guaranteed penetrations on them. And so I think that's the only reason why you weren't able to carry this, because I think if you had just landed a few more shots, you would have easily come away with a win. And you definitely made some very good decisions during this game as well, which kept your game, which effectively let the game go on for as long as it did. You know, taking out low HP tanks, prioritizing them, pushing a flank in order to get your team freed up to respond to the loss in the south. You played pretty well, and you definitely put the good characteristics of the Grille to use. Unfortunately, shit happens, and you weren't able to carry, and 7,000 damage. That's a depressing loss in anything. So, but anyway, Evo, well played. I'm sorry you couldn't come away with a win, and I hope you guys enjoyed this game. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.